All right, folks. So you know how like carriers have to constantly upgrade the network and they have to expand coverage, get the network larger, cover more places, make more capacity, deal with situations where the performance of the network just isn't up to par. And because your competitors are performing better than you in those places, you've got to go ahead and make those upgrades and improvements for yourself so you can better compete. Well, it's happening. And one of the places that it's happening is where the NFL draft for 2025 is going down in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this is important. Very typically, we see Verizon kind of winning when it comes to NFL markets. Places where NFL teams, you have, like for this example, right? It's Green Bay. This is through and through an NFL football town. It's huge in terms of the culture and the identity of this city. And, the NFL has prominence in a lot of these types of towns, whether it's in the Midwest, the East Coast, West Coast, it really doesn't matter. Now, one of the companies that has a hard time in a lot of these larger venues and places where there's a lot of users is the T-Mobile network. And the reason why they typically have problems is because typically they rely on very traditional cell site solutions. They basically try to do it with just their macro cell sites blasting towards the stadiums and all the different venues. Well, in 2025, that's just not going to cut it. You do need macros serving the area, but what you really need are solutions that offload the macros. So we're talking about IDAS, ODAS, so these are indoor distributed antenna systems, and then the outdoor ones as well, that are like in and around the venue itself. And then you also want to do like small cells and cells on wheels, temporary solutions, parking lots, hotels. You just have to do everything. You can't just rely on a macro grid. It's just not going to hold up because you get these influxes of folks from out of town who don't normally live there, play there, kind of move around there. They're infused into the area temporarily. But if things are happening within these venues often enough, you make those upgrades, you make those investments for the sake of providing better service for your customers. And that's how you keep them long term. When they have good experiences, they stay with you. So according to T-Mobile, they have been preparing for a large influx of visitors to the Green Bay market, specifically for the NFL draft. But I'm sure that they've had trouble in certain situations just on those NFL Sundays when the Green Bay Packers are hosting, their NFL football games. So according to T-Mobile, they've done quite a few permanent upgrades in which they've, obviously installed radios and provided enhanced, modifications to existing cell sites. I think for them, it's more so about creating more cell sites and then getting on the DAS systems. As long as they're neutral host, they just kind of pay to be on them, and then they can build those systems and make the network better. Because we've seen it time and time again, where Verizon has been an amazing performer at these huge, massive venues, and T-Mobile is way behind. And customers' phones basically become useless bricks. So good to see that T-Mobile's taking the steps to do this. They said that customers can expect twice the download speeds previously and 10 times the upload speeds. Sounds to me like T-Mobile has invested some time, money, resources, and efforts into making the customer network experience on T-Mobile a little bit more similar to what we're seeing from Verizon. Now, I don't think that T-Mobile is ever going to do the scale of the millimeter wave solutions and the small cells and things of that nature, but I think T-Mobile can do enough to keep their customers happy and to keep them from leaving, because for several hours while they're at these venues, their phone otherwise wouldn't be working. So this is really good and glad to see it. Glad to see T-Mobile taking the network piece a little bit more seriously in these types of situations. It's important to network traditionally. It's also important to network situationally, which is something I think T-Mobile has been sorely missing in its previous iterations of its company and its network build. All right, good to see here. Let me know what you guys think about this. Like, share, subscribe. Check out some more videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.